We've got 14 people, so let's wait for the rest.
Sure, no worries.
Cool. We'll just give it a few minutes, Dr. Mansoor.
Absolutely, I don't mind.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm just somehow.
I think we have about 17 people, so should we get started? Okay, afternoon everybody. Welcome to today's tea time. We have with us Dr. Mansoor Habib, who is the head of wellness and tolerance and happiness at DO, and also obviously a very well-regarded clinician in the biomedical circles, an old friend and former colleague as well. And he has kindly consented to share with us his thoughts on how we get through this, quite strange and at times difficult period for all of us. So without further ado, Dr. Mansoor, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ashish. Again, I would like to thank you for having me today. I hope my voice is clear and everyone is able to hear me. Okay. So before I proceed and share the screen to take you through a quick journey in few slides, I'm a physician by nature. My specialty is family medicine and occupational health. Graduated from College of Surgeons in Dublin back in 2000, and then worked in the government sector for 9 to 10 years, 10 years actually. And then in 2010 moved to the telecom operator DO, established an in-house clinic and a wellness program for the staff where we look after their health and well-being. It's been a fascinating journey and learned a lot, encountered so many various aspects of the corporate world and trying to put things into perspective when it comes to the health and the medical world. And it allowed me to come up with some kind of a unique proposition of how to bring those two worlds together and try to understand each other. Anyhow, now that we are today in a very unique situation where, yes, I'm talking to all of you, but at the end of the day, I'm talking to a camera in front of me, which is weird and funny. A virtual world altogether. Some of you are hearing me, some of you are seeing me, and different parts of the world, but nevertheless, we are so blessed to have the connectivity, to have the internet, where I believe 100 years ago, people who lived the plague or any other epidemics or any pandemics, they did not have the privilege that we have. At DO, I've noticed something in the last few weeks when the whole scenario
I think we just lost Dr. Mansoor. On the call, doctor, but we can't hear you.
I'm calling Dr. Mansoor now. I just spoke with him. He's trying to reconnect.
Yeah, is that fine?
Yes, much better now. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay,
No.
so just to continue. Yes, we were discussing about the employees who approached me a couple of days ago, and they were in a state of uneasiness. Definitely, it's a new way of working. There is a paradigm shift, as you know, happening to all of us. And here comes the context of stress. Do you guys think that we are stressed out? Are we getting into some kind of an uneasiness, are feeling a little bit heavy? We have our work commitments, we have our home commitments, we have expectation from our team members, we have expectation from our family members. Some of our family members wouldn't realize what's the difference whether I'm working from home. They just see me at home and that's it. So this kind of a context has created a very interesting proposition that allowed me to put things into perspective and see, are we enabled enough? Do we have the tools in place which will allow us to cruise through this fascinating adventure, this new paradigm shift, this new era that all of us are entering? Do we have the tools that will allow us to be positive and to embrace this change from a positive perspective rather than just seeing it as a very stressful situation? Before I embark into the tools, I will take you very quickly into a few slides to tell you more about what do we mean by stress. I'm sure if not all of you, many of you are aware about what does it mean to be stressed out. I would just like to start with this. I hope you can see the screen. This is just a nice statement by His Highness about it's all about the way we think of things and we embrace those changes from that perspective. We can definitely see it as something negative and something devastating, but also we can see it as a moment of pause to all of us in this rat race and trying to reprioritize our life. So, talking about stress, now I am at home. I'm communicating with you guys virtually. I'm communicating with my team in the morning virtually. I have certain KPIs to be fulfilled by the company. I have certain commitments, and I'm confused. What shall I do? How shall I complete my KPIs? How shall I fulfill my tasks? And at the same time, I might be involved in distant learning for my children. How can I juggle all of this? What happens when we start feeling that external stressors, I will call it, or triggers coming on us, our body will start responding in a state of fight or flight. And within 6 seconds, our brain will release the hormones adrenaline and cortisol, which will swamp through our body. And within 6 seconds, we will literally go into the reactive mode. What do I mean by a reactive mode? Imagine if someone suddenly comes in front of you with his or her car. The first thing we're going to do is hold on the brake, and then we might start cursing or what might feel bad why he or she did that. This is a reactive approach. 6 seconds, cortisol and adrenaline came down to our body, and we lost our rationality, and we were triggered by our emotions and by our instincts to react. And on that basis, the outcome could be devastating. How can we materialize that in our current reactions while I'm virtually with you? A line manager calls me and he doesn't find me available online. He will start wondering, where am I? And then the next step, he will send me a WhatsApp and he doesn't see me online on WhatsApp. So that line manager will go into 6 seconds, his hormones will come down, he will go into a panic mode. Oh my God, where is my team member? I'm not able to get hold of them. I'm not able to find them. What's going on? I need to finish this task. Now it's all about remote working and my boss is expecting something. And then that line manager will go into that panic mode or that flight or fright mode, and they might bombard the individual or their team member with calls and WhatsApp without realizing that we are in a new paradigm. My child maybe have fallen off the stairs and I went to pick him or pick her up. So you know what I mean? It's not anymore an office environment where I can just call upon you and you will come and we will resolve it. We are in a different settings. We are in a different mode. Hence, the reasons for stress could be more than before until we start getting through this teething period and naturalize our behavior. Why this 6 seconds is very important for every one of us? Because this 6 seconds will take us to this. It will deplete our energy by the end of the day. And this is not the purpose of us working or having families or having people around us or having beloved ones around us. We need to be fully charged in the morning and we need to be fully charged in the evening as well. So it's about how we communicate, how we interact with each other, and we keep refueling each other with this positivity and with this ongoing fuel by helping each other as team members and as colleagues, as well as with our partners, beloved ones, family members. The ongoing reactive approach will lead to a devastating impact. I won't delve into the details of it, but every one of us knows the impact on the long term, especially now we are quarantined, we are not able to go out or to vent out, to watch a movie or to take a walk or etc. So that might make us more stressed out, more agitated, and this could impact us in terms of anger, in terms of our behavior towards the people around us. And also we will not be fulfilling our own ambition, and I might harsh myself in terms of not feeling good about myself, and I'll just keep on cursing this coronavirus day and night that, oh my God, what happened to my life? It's all upside down and my routine has changed, and I used to do this and that, and now I can't do anything of that, and I cannot go to my best restaurant and have my meal there, and all that sort of things, because we've been so attached to our surroundings and we never imagined one day that we might be suddenly taken away of that. So this is just a quick introduction about the stress, its impact, and how we are more prone to these triggers at the moment, especially now we are adapting with this new style of working, new style of communicating, new style of interacting. And as humans, we have not built to that. We are built to communicate physically, because it's the energy transfer between us which will allow us to understand each other more. Nowadays, if an email is sent with a capital letter, you might assume that it's an aggressive one. But when it's a face-to-face contact, it might be totally different. So this takes us to, so what, doctor? We keep on in this negativity and bewilderment. What is the solution? Actually, is there a solution? It's a very difficult question to answer. Hence, I would say everyone and each one of you have their own recipe of how to be able to get out through this difficult phase and difficult time. But as I mentioned, I'll share with you few of the tools which has been shown to be effective in certain parts of the world where those who were resilient enough were able to practice some of those habits, I would say, and nurture those habits, and it allowed them to be able to perceive life from a different lens altogether. What are those habits? What are those tools? Which I'll take you through them again quickly with some examples, and then I would be delighted to hear you back, your questions, if you have any interaction, and that will all obviously will enrich our session today. Here, I tried to coin the tool in a small coin, and I named it the happiness coin. It has 5 domains. I'll start with the first domain, which is health. And if you can figure out, I've used the mnemonics HAPPY, H-A-P-P-Y, to summarize each tool. The first tool, health. Move naturally, eat wisely. Why health is important? Why we emphasize on moving and eating wisely and naturally? Now here is the catch. Each one of us knows the benefits of sport and activity, the benefit of healthy eating, and etc. But from a context of the current scenario which we are going through, if we keep our routine of movement, I know we don't have access maybe to the gym or to the fitness center, but I can use my apartment or my house or the backyard to do some push-up or some workouts. If you have a 2-story house, then you can go up and down the stairs. If you don't have any of those options, then you can just fix your bed or do some cooking or do something funky, do something funny, do something out of the box. And the same thing goes with eating. Now with movement, why I am emphasizing on it again? All the studies have shown when you move, when you burn calories, when your muscles start heating up, you release endorphins. Endorphins are chemicals which act as a muscle relaxant. Whenever you are out of the pain of your movement or your workout, those endorphins will allow your muscles to recover. And it has a huge impact on delaying the release of your cortisol and adrenaline. So if next time you are in an encounter with your team member where you might find it very difficult or you are stressed out, having a storage of those endorphins in your body will allow you to be calmer. It will allow you to extend your 6 seconds to 10 or 16 seconds. So you'll be able to control the release of your hormones and you will be responsive rather than reactive. And there is a huge difference between being responsive and being reactive. What causes trouble in life is being reactive, and then we say, oh my God, I wish I didn't do this and I didn't do that because I've reacted so harshly on this occasion or on that encounter. So that ongoing movement, if we can cultivate and keep it in this difficult phase, because with staying at home, we might go into our potato couch with our Netflix and all the other funny stuff with the delivery of a popcorn and a nachos. So it's not easy, but I think, again, it's an opportunity to realize how can we incorporate new ways of burning calories or mobilizing our muscles. The same thing goes with eating wisely. We might indulge into more binge eating or nibbling, but then again, if we are able to focus on having our frequent meals at the right time, this will allow us to benefit the most and avoid the weight gain, which also have an impact on our stress level and our reactive versus response formula. Not to forget, very important within this domain of health, sleeping. Guys, I know with the working remotely, we might feel good about it, but sometimes we end up working more than if we are in the office because we are not able to disconnect. We keep on just answering emails and responding to everything day and night without segregation, which might impact our sleep cycle or our sleep pattern. And the sleep is the number one asset we have to boost our immunity. Don't we say coronavirus, You can control it with having a strong immunity, because when you have a strong immunity, you can fight the virus and the infection, and you can get away from it very quickly. Then the biggest free of cost asset which we are missing is sleep. It has such a huge benefit in repairing our cells and taking care of our body while we are asleep, to make sure that the next day we are fully positive and able to fight any infection, not just the coronavirus. Moving on to the second domain of A, around me. And I think this is one area where each one of us should really look into it in an in-depth. What do I mean by around me? Around me, I have colleagues. Around me, I have family members. Around me, I have partners. Around me, I have my beloved people. Around me, I might have my cat and dog. So it's how am I able to embrace my surrounding with this new shift? If we talk about workplace and colleagues, how many of you started practicing empathy since we began this crisis? How many of you who are team leader at the moment listening or watching me do call their team member in the morning and just check on them and find out if they are good and okay, rather than just checking on them and asking them to do something? Just purely check on their well-being and how they are coping up with this. Empathy is one of the most crucial tools I foresee in this crisis that will really allow us to come out as humans, connecting with each other at a different level than just trying to accomplish our tasks and finish off our deadlines to our clients and or etc. With empathy, we need to ensure that we are empowering our team members and we are not just chasing them and micromanaging them. Again, I know we are cruising in a new speed through a very new wave. In the beginning, you might need to do a little bit of monitoring here and there, but then I believe trust is there, and that's the number one factor which will empower us to be more empathic and take our employee to the next level. And that is important when I'll come to the next step of purpose, where I will link the empathy with clear deliverables. Obviously, comes along the work and the colleague is our family and our partners and our beloved people around us. Coronavirus did not come out of the blue. It came for a reason. We were just running and running and running after so many things, not realizing that we have people around us that we have missed talking to, connecting with, getting to know them better. For those who have family members and kids, do you remember or do you know what are their hobbies, what they like, what they dislike? Some of you might do that. Yes, they are very good about it. But some others, we might miss that or we might not focus on those. So this is a golden opportunity that we are at homes with our beloved ones to understand them better, to allow them to unleash their likes and dislikes. When did you play Ono the last time with your beloved ones with you in your place, or Monopoly, or I would anything, you just name it. It's fascinating because all of that bring your resilience and agility to the next level. It's all about connection. Especially now, we are missing to connect with our colleagues in the workplace in the morning. So let's do more of that at home with our surrounding, especially if those who are alone or lonely, if they have a cat or a dog, or even if they have plants, because everything is living around you. So you can create that discussion. And don't worry, no one will call that you're crazy or anything like that. Going to the next letter, which is P for pause. This is very dear word to me. Pause. Mindfulness. Reflection. When did we really felt the beauty of the feather of a bird or the greeneriness of a grass in front of us? If you had dinner yesterday, I'm sure all of you had a dinner yesterday, do you still remember the taste of that food in your mouth? I doubt it, because we are bewildered and we are anxious and we are following up the social media frenzy with this news about Corona. Let's put Corona aside, guys. Government is taking care. They're putting all the measures. They're doing their homework to keep us safe. Let's enjoy those moments together. Let's have that connection. Let's go deep into ourselves and ask ourselves, is this what I want out of life? What are my priorities? Thankful enough, the mindfulness tool is such huge to allow us to be more calmer and more positive during this crisis. Yes, some of you might say, why did this happen? And why now when I was planning to be promoted or I'm being ambitious and I got so many plans in my place? It can happen, but we need that pause. The whole planet needs that pause. It seems that the animals were sick of us and they told us, you know what, now it's your time to be in the cage and we're going to go and roam around and enjoy the life. So it's more like a message from Mother Nature. Let's use mindfulness as much as we can. Let's have that moment of reflection, have that deep breathing. Whatever you like, there is no rule for that. If it was a prayer, do that. If it was a connection with the higher force, with something that you believe in. What matters is that you need that moment of serenity with yourself, not just waking up in the morning and following up on the news. And this is very important to boost up that lost positive energy, which we showed in the previous slide. Going on to P for purpose. What do I mean by purpose? In the context of today's discussion, I'll try to focus on one area. Maybe if we had another chats, we can talk more about it, but I want to focus on our KPIs. Now, as teams, as colleagues in our workplaces, even what KPIs we have set and what deliverables we have in place since the beginning of the year might change completely. And we might need to move to a certain different approach in terms of our deliverables and our projects. In order to reduce our stress and anxiety while working remotely, as team leads, let's have that chat with your team member and try to realign the KPI. Have more clear deliverables. It will need a little bit of a mental muscle, but try to make it simple, make it achievable. I know we have the SMART objective tool, but working remotely is different than working in the office because we might not have all the tools in front of us. So let's try to make the deliverables more realistic in the current scenario rather than assuming that live as it is. And this will allow that empathy which I talked about, because once you are more clear and your team member are not confused of what they need to be done when they wake up in the morning, you will connect more readily and you will be able to understand each other in a smoother way, and hopefully things will go on the right track. I'll end up with Y, which is you. It's all about you. Giving yourself, giving your community, obliging with the regulations, helping those in need, if there is any volunteering opportunities, being thankful of everything that we have at the moment. You go to the supermarket, you have everything available. You go to the pharmacy and the hospitals, they have there. We have electricity, we have water, we have internet, we have all this connectivity. And it's amazing because the only thing what humanity needs from us to save the planet is for us to sit at home in our couches. What is more easy than that? I know it sounds very simple, but in reality, it's very difficult because we're meant to move and we are meant to mingle and we are meant to mix. So this was a very quick journey. I know time is essence and I won't take much of your time and allow some question and answers if you would like to interact, but those 5 letters summarizes in one way or another how you can cultivate to be hopefully able to be more responsive than reactive in your day-to-day approach with your team members, with your beloved ones. And let's not forget, this is all temporary. We're going to go back to normal very soon. I'm sure about it. And I think it's the beauty of getting the most lessons out of this opportunity. One thing I forgot to mention, this is a golden opportunity to learn and learn and learn. TEDx, Coursera, you name it. We have so many platforms of courses, maybe something that you were dreaming to do before, you didn't do it before, do it now. Don't forget about your hobbies, whether it's gardening or whether it's carpentry. Try to learn something new. If you're not a good cook, go and burn the kitchen, do something. Unleash something out of you that will make you feel really good about yourself, that you accomplished something, at least at the end of the day. I would like to end with this statement by His Highness, our ambition is to touch the life of every individual and hopefully to achieve a happier life for all. So that comes to the end of my quick cruise through this topic. And yeah, please, if you would like to jump in, and I'm there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mansoor. I'm sure my colleagues have questions, so maybe the best way to do this is for people to, whoever has a question, please unmute your mic and go ahead and ask the good doctor.
I would say I will start. Thanks a lot for, the overview. I think there were so many golden nuggets in what you said that, it will take me, I've taken a lot of notes. It will take me a bit of time to think about all the individual ones. I think one of the things that resonated with me, probably because I've not been able to do it yet, is this idea of pausing and learning, because I'm still so focused on keep the team going, keep the business running, that I haven't found time for myself and for exploring this opportunity. Because actually, as you were saying, the only thing we have to do is to stay at home and just do nothing in theory. But I think the learning and exploring part, the giving ourselves the possibility of thinking at things in a different way, is really a fantastic opportunity that we should take, that we should work on more. I'm curious about your experience. What is it that you are learning from this experience?
Thank you so much for your comment. I think one of the most fascinating things that I'm learning from this experience is that there is plenty of time in a day. We always used to think 24 hours is not enough. And I suddenly realized that no, there are a lot of things to be done in a 24 hours. But I think it was our mindset which kept taking us that it's not enough and not enough and not enough. And I realized also another thing. So many things which were urgent but not important was wasting my energy rather than the important and urgent, which is the most important box, which we look into from a long-term perspective, because we always get hooked up in that urgent, non-important, which might drag us because we are so perfectionist and we want to make sure that, yeah, let me get this out of my way, then I will do this, and it's never ending because that let me get out of that way, it keeps on 1 and 2 becomes 8, becomes 16, and so on and so forth.
Thank you. Guys, any other?
Any other questions, people? So I have a question for Dr.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, what are your reflections?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, because that was a lot to take in. And for me, the beauty of this talk was that it was, the medical, the existential, the spiritual, the philosophical, all rolled up into one. So thank you. The question I have, and Dr. Mansoor, we're old friends, I will never hold you to the answer. But do you think that sometime in June, we will be back to life as we have known it in this country?
As they say, this is the $1 million question. I'm very optimistic. By June, looking from a statistical medical perspective, the curve should by then come down, if not plateaued already. And that will allow to open up and breathe in more, which hopefully will allow things to start getting back, but not fully, I will say gradually. I might assume the government might be a little bit more extra cautious in trying to put things into perspective. I mean, as you know, in terms of education, the whole sector will be distant learning, so there will be no back for them for this quarter or for the semester, which will be very helpful in terms of controlling the crowd and the buses and etc. But from a from a corporate perspective, I am very much optimistic that, let's say, they will increase the work from office to 50%. So they might say, now more of you can go to office and less of you can stay at home. So that hopefully we should see some of that by June, especially looking also at the experience what China went through. And being so aggressive in this next 2 weeks will be very helpful to allow us to breathe in June.
Great, thank you.
By the way, I just want to mention. Sure, go ahead. But I want just to mention, I know there were a lot of things that we talked about today, and it doesn't mean that you need to go back and do all of those after each other, because then that will defy the purpose of you being stressed out. It's just about pick and choose what suits you and how you're gonna use which tool at what time. Sorry, go ahead, your question, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mansour. I had a question just in terms of when we're sort of beyond this current crisis and we sort of enter, I guess, a new normal. It's more of probably quite a hypothetical point, but what sort of long-term difference do you think it will make to society? How do you think people will interact with their loved ones or their colleagues or just with the public in general? Have you had any thoughts behind that?
Thank you very much for the question. Will you be surprised if I told you majority of us will go back to normal as if nothing happened? Unfortunately, as humans, we are very much hardwired to go back to our habits, and we might feel, oh my God, finally I'm out of this prison, and we might even initially do more of the opposite thing that we haven't done it at the moment, trying just to prove to ourselves that, no, this is what I used to do is the right thing. This was just a temporary. I need to forget about it and I need to wipe it out of my memory because it was just a dream that never happened, that sort of thing. Some people might face that challenge, and I would assume a good number of them. But I'm sure as long as we are mindful about what we are going through, this will be the key for us to be able to change our priorities and our approach to life in the next chapter. And that's why all of this happened. If this was just for the sake of being panic and fear, then I would doubt that nature has that approach. It's all about trying to put things into equilibrium. We were running in a rat race. We were dashing off very like anything and running after what? After a mirage? Then what? I have plenty of money in my account. Then what? Am I able to use it now? No, just a little bit of deliveries and takeaways and that's it. But in reality, whatever asset we have, whatever we have built is all come to stand still, which shows us as a human, in a flick of a second, we could be devoid of all of this. So it's a matter of how to, yes, we go back to our life, but being mindful that we should put our head high in the sky, but keep our foot down on the ground. And that balance hopefully will be able to allow us to be more wiser in our ambitions and not just to put expectations. And then if it didn't happen, we will not feel bad about it anymore. I hope that kind of clarifies the
Thank you.
The view.
Are there any other questions?
I have a
Yep, please go ahead.
First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Mansour. That was really, really insightful. And this is a topic that interests me very much. And I think there's no better time than to delve deeper into, health and wellness, not only physically, but mentally as well. So thank you very much for that. And my question is about, at this point, would be extremism. So from all aspects, how do you help control that in such a time when, you are not going into work, so you probably want to give more. You're not exercising, so you probably find another way to, incorporate that into your life. And if you don't, you end up feeling guilty about it. Same thing with food. So maybe you're being healthy or maybe you're not. So there's a certain reverse effect that could possibly happen with extremism, whether you're doing it or you're not. So in this situation, what are your recommendations?
Thank you very much. You have mentioned the golden word, feeling guilty. We really need to make sure to remove the hat of guilt feeling at the moment. It's not our mistake what happened. It's not our mistake why things changed suddenly and went into this shift. And suddenly, from being an extremist of doing everything, now we are extremists doing nothing. And that kind of puts us into that trap that, no, I'm not used to just sit and do nothing. And I need to I need to make sure that if I'm getting paid, I need to make sure that that salary that I've been paid for, because it's a very, very new, uh, let's say, shift in how
Dynamic.
we
Yeah.
That's very dynamic, absolutely. And it is a learning phase for all of us. There is no right and wrong, I would say, definitely. All of us were reluctant to jump in water to swim, and suddenly the virus came and pushed all of us in water. And now we have to swim whether we like it or no. And it's about who is enjoying the swim and breathing the air outside the water, and who is trying just to put their legs down and feeling that no. So it's that mental race inside us. And I think here to achieve that balance is not easy. I will say it's very difficult. Even with me, I'm trying to find my sweet spot to juggle things around. I'll give you an example. A funny thing happened where I suddenly realized when I watched it, it gave me that sudden quietness in my brain, and it made me feel like, I can't have a breath, because sometimes I feel I'm breathless while I'm at home because I'm following up on phone calls. Being the physician of the company, my phone is like a switchboard with employees calling for various things and being worried about something, or in the crisis team, and etc. So it's very fast paced. And then in the evening comes in, and you don't know whether it's a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday. There is no more fun of having a Thursday, because there is no more weekend. Every day is a weekend. So suddenly, what I did yesterday, I just switched on Godfather, an epic movie, and I just started watching it. And after half an hour, 1 hour of watching it and closing it off, I felt like, wow, this is cool. Everyone have their own sweet spot. So once you find that sweet spot, or cuddling your cat or doing something, you will suddenly realize, oh my God, yes, I'm still living. It's not a dream. Because we are still in a shock state, by the way. Some of us are still in denial. No. This virus thing is just a story they are telling us, and everything's going to go back to normal next week. No. There is nothing. What do you mean? I cannot have my Starbucks coffee, or cannot go to my best movie? No. So that denial might be the flipping factor on going us to extremism. So just let's realize we are in a new cruise, in a new adventure, where what is needed of us is just to explore and be good listeners to nature. And I really hope, including myself, we will be able to get out of this wiser and stronger, I would say, rather than going into more guilt feeling.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was perfect.
Dr. Mansoor, I don't have a question, but I just want to say thank you so much. This is so refreshing, and it's truly been the highlight of my day. This is obviously nothing like, the usual presentations we go through every day, day in and day out, all the time, which we enjoy, but this is refreshing and different, and really modulated my personal energy levels for the day at least, and hoping to take it forward. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
You're welcome. You mentioned that you also enjoy the normal presentation. Is it because your manager is online?
No, because I actually do. I think he
just Thank you.
Dr. Mansoor, I don't think there are any other questions. I think the prosecution rests. So, thank you once again for taking the time to be with us. And, as you mentioned on the phone when we talked about taking this further now within other WPP companies potentially, we'll have a chat about that tomorrow. Please let me have a good time to ring you, and we'll talk about it. Yeah.
No worries at all. Definitely, I'll ping you in WhatsApp about the time. But again, I want to really extend my thank, and I want to confess something. Obviously, because it's a new way of delivering the session, I'm not able to interact more closely, because usually in my lively sessions, I will make sure to pass by everyone, ask everyone to interact, to ask questions, to give their feedback, their view, because that's what makes us unique. So apology for those who I was not able to see or get in touch with from the rest of the listeners. And I truly hope we get through all of this together more positively, more wisely, because I think this is again an opportunity for us to be a little bit, hopefully, more wiser. Stay crazy. No, there is nothing wrong with that. That will give you some energy, but try to balance it with a little bit of wiseness so that at least you will feel, yeah, Corona taught me something.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Mansoor. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Take care.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye.